Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to my second channel. We got a double whammy. I've got a cold, like real like in the sinuses, in the head kind of cold. Did a test yesterday when I woke up feeling awful. I was like, oh no, because I'm also due on tomorrow. I was like, don't you dare give me both. Test came back negative, so it's just like, ugh, I haven't been ill in so long, I forgot what it feels like. So today, I thought we'd stay cozy. If you can hear a crackling fireplace, I have it on YouTube in the background. I thought, I mean, what better way to make myself feel better than reading 50 Shades of Grey from Christian's perspective. Now, I picked this up the other day, and I asked if you wanted to see this video. Someone said, no, Ali, don't do it to yourself. And someone said, okay, fine, do it. So I'm just gonna take that as a, you really want this video. I'm a bit of a reading slump right now. I keep like falling in and out, like I don't know what to read. I feel kind of overwhelmed by all the options, which is like, you know, first world problem and all. But you know, when you just got so much, you're like, I literally don't know what to read next. There's so much I want to read. So you just end up reading nothing for days and days and days. So I thought we'd jump into this, only because I think it'll be a bit of fun, because I've seen some quotes from this book, but not many, but some of them are hilarious. If you say to me now, when I read 50 Shades of Grey, back when they came out, I never read romance. It was the first thing, and all I remember is I used to skip the sex scenes because they are so boring. It's the only thing I really remember. Now, I remember the plot because I've seen the movies and things like that a couple of times more recently than I read the books. So as a avid romance reader now, I really want to read this because, hey, a toxic hero who's really dominating and kinky, if you just say that to me, I'll be like, no, what is the title of that book? We read a lot of these, okay? I want to see what Christian is like in his head. I've read plenty of books about angry, dominating, kinky men. So let's read this one. Now I have more of a framework of like reference frame. You know what I'm trying to say. And this might be the first ever book I annotate. I got a pencil because I don't care about messing this book up. I really don't. Let's jump into this and I'll let you know how it goes. And I'm just going to go in like, I'm going to go super open-minded as I always do. Because it might not be as bad as everyone says. And after reading this, you know, I've read so much romance now that maybe it isn't as bad. You know. Let us judge. Okay, one thing. I'm only on page 6. But, excuse me, Mr. Grey, you are not really getting my attention because you just insulted bookish types. A bashful bookish type, eh? She looks it. Poorly dressed. Mr. Grey, you are none of my good books so far. I'm so well dressed. Shut up! I don't know why this always gets me, but when people are like so against, when someone asks them if they're gay, I forgot about that part. And Stage's like, are you gay, Mr. Grey? He says, what the hell? I can't believe she said that out loud. Ironically, the question even my family will not ask. What? How dare she? And then he has a sudden urge to do things to her to shut her up. That would answer her ridiculous question. Why is... Those who... You know... Continue on. God, only page 12. This is taking me forever. I mean, the font is pretty tiny, but it's taking me forever. Not even a paragraph later. I get it. I think I'm starting to get it. Maybe this is a mistake reading this. I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's... At least with, you know, I can deal with some assholes. We all can, okay? But when they see their woman, they are literally head over heels. You know, they really are. But Christian, he's like, damn, she really is attractive in an understated sort of way. Well, that's a backhanded compliment if I've ever heard one. Wow. I should really put like a point system, because you know when you get that hero that's like an absolute dick, but they redeem themselves, I should do a point system of how many times I have to give him a point on the bad side, and then when he does actual good, genuine things from his heart, and he starts to redeem himself. But I know there's 3 books, it takes him a while, but does he really in the end? I can't remember in all honesty. Anyway, more backhanded compliments, please. I live for them. You know, annotating this book was a very good idea. I've never annotated a book. It's very liberating. I see why people do it. So instead of stopping like every couple of pages to give you an insight on what I'm feeling, I just thought I'd like scribble, then read a few pages and go back. Okay, where was I? Where was I? Okay, I've read this so many times. What the hell does this mean? So they're having coffee, or tea, only page 35, and he makes a note of what tea she likes and how she only dips it in and then puts it back out because she likes her tea really weak. And he says, my mouth is twitching with my amusement as she tells me she likes her tea weak and black. For a moment, I think she's describing what she likes in a man. I'm sorry, what? Mr. Grey, just one question we have for the AliExpress. May I ask, what the fuck? How did you jump from... She dips her tea bag, puts it on the side, and you're like, she's trying to tell me something here. She is trying to say something. And what you think she's trying about the men she weak and black. Mr. Grey, the world is confused and awaiting your answer. Anyway, so that was bizarre. And why is his problem with her only wearing jeans? I can see the whole like, I'd love you, because he wants his women accessible. Okay, fine. You know, it's a little bit maybe dirty talk, sex talk. I'd love to have you in a dress. I'd love to have you in a skirt because I plan to do terribly dirty things to you. But saying it like this is in his head. Because he says, do you always wear jeans? And she says, mostly, she says. And it's 2 strikes against her. Incurable romantic who only wears jeans. Get her out of here. Get her out of my sight. 2 strikes, Anna. 2 strikes. My God. So much I've forgotten about this. So it's kind of nice. Like, we love a morally grey... a morally grey character. Sorry, I did not mean to do that. I really didn't. Oh, and then apparently I just got bored because I had nothing to say. Oh, also, why is Christian's problem with Anna's friend? Honestly, why is his problem when he keeps going on like she wants to talk to her so-called friend? So this is when she's out at a bar and Christian tracks her number to try and find where she is because she's drunk. All right, fine. Again, we've read plenty of dark romance around here. We love an obsessive stalker. But why is his gripe? Like, they're at the same bar. Anna went outside with the photographer guy. I can't even remember his name now, Jesus. Her friend is not her mother, okay? She was drunk, but she was outside with the photographer guy, who is her friend. So if we put ourselves in this situation, if one of my friends who is quite a bit drunk, maybe she was like super drunk, I may, you know, all right, I get the point of like, hey, should we go home? You're not looking too great. But if she went out and her friend went with her, okay, at least she's outside with a friend, regardless of what he did, like tried to come on to her and she was refusing his advances. But obviously her friend didn't know that. She's like, oh, they're just going outside to get some fresh air because she's a little bit drunk and she's with a friend. What has her friend done to make you hate her so much, Christian? I don't understand it. Then she passes out, he takes her to his hotel room, takes off her shoes, socks and jeans because they were covered in vomit. Not that, I mean, I remember it feeling much worse, I think, when I watched the film of what happened, like the implications of that. But seeing it from Christian's eyes, he wasn't doing it like sexually, he didn't touch her in any way, he just wanted to put her to bed and take off her vomit-stained clothes. Okay, you are crossing a line, but like I said, we read a lot of romance. Like, it's you know, it's not that bad, come on. But then, when Christian goes on page 67 to do a little bit of victim blaming here, after she wakes up and they're having a conversation in his hotel room, and he starts reprimanding her, goes, you didn't eat, you got drunk, you put yourself at risk. Sir, Mr. Grey, I don't want to call you sir because that'll get you all excited. Mr. Grey, Christian, if I may, don't do that. It's as if to say you're putting yourself at risk, you're putting yourself in a situation that something could happen and therefore it's your fault. No, sir. I'm so sorry, it's just very hard not to call you sir. I also had to Google a word. Here we go. For all her maladroitness, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, for all her maladroitness, she has a beautiful neckline. One I'd like to kiss from the bottom of her ear right down to her shoulder. Maladroitness. Definition time. Lacking skill, cleverness, or resourcefulness in handling situations. Inept. Also, the fact of being awkward in movement or unskilled in behaviour or action, which is what I think they are getting at because she's very clumsy, which really annoys me in her when they're stupidly clumsy. Like, get a grip, woman. Get some balance. Focus on your core workout, I don't know. I don't know what. Maybe it's all stemmed from 50 Shades of Grey that it really annoys me when a character is just so overly clumsy that it's just cringeworthy. Anyway, I'm guessing the whole, it wasn't the lacking skill, cleverness, like completely inept thing, and it was more the, you know, awkward in movement and stuff like that. But how does that relate? For all her maladroitness, she has a beautiful neckline. How, where's the connection? I don't see how any of this connects. Christian, what does that have to do with anything? It's just like the bloody tea again. There's something wrong with you. Anyway, I've caught you up. I'm on page 81 and I'm loving life. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, time for a check-in. What do we have? Oh, I've had a couple of giggles on this. When they go in his helicopter, it just made me laugh. She was like, do you know what you're doing? She asks with wonder. As in, like, to fly the helicopter. I just imagine him looking at her and going, nope, first time, let's go! Oh, by the way, Anna has the personality of an unseasoned bowl of mashed potatoes. Honestly, I kind of forget that she's a character. It's bad. I don't remember it being like this when I first read it, but I know it's from his point of view, but I almost forget she's a character and she's our heroine. She has nothing, like nothing. She gives nothing to the story. Also, when it comes to the BDSM, because this is what we're getting into now. I mean, I've got up to the point where they've already had sex, but when he's describing that he's a dom and things like that, and she's like, what do I get out of this? And he's like, me. He doesn't describe very well of what a dom sub thing is. It's more like, you need to do what I'm doing, you need to give me pleasure, yada yada yada, you'll be punished or rewarded. When in reality, it's meant to be pleasurable for both parties. You know what I mean? And that's really how he should have led. It was just, I think it's really badly written. I mean, I know a lot of people who are actually in the BDSM community have already talked up on all this, and I'm not a voice for that. But sure, you know, it's got to be pleasurable from both parties. What do I get out of this? Me. Oh, okay, Christian, fine. Also, when he finds out that she's a virgin, I was waiting for this part, and he says, fine, I'll make love to you because I can't take you to my playroom, you being a virgin. He describes it as a means to an end. But one I want, and hopefully you do too. Don't describe someone's first time as a means to an end. That's just not nice. But again, Anna has no personality, so it's probably fine. Oh, and then this made me giggle. Because I just had that meme. I'll try and find it. So they're getting down to it, things like that. I repeat the process with the other cup and watch fascinated as her nipples grow under my steady gaze. Wow. All I heard was that meme one and it goes, wow! Okay, anyway. Back to it. I'm currently watching puppies being born on TikTok. It's very, very distracting to my day, so we still got it on though, but I'm mute, so I'm just gonna pop. Actually, I'm gonna put your face down. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be distracted. Right, I finished. Oh my god. I plowed through these books, the original ones, when they first came out. And like I said, my only thing that I noticed back then was that the sex was really boring. But oh my god, is it boring? Oh, it's so bad. It's like just 30-second rounds of nothing, really. Like, it's the same again and again, and it lasts like 5 lines and it's done, and it's just not really. So thoughts. For such an experienced dom, Christian is a terrible one. Where was it? Right near the end. I can't remember what my last clip was, but I'm pretty sure it was before he went over to her house and give her a little bit of a... And then she was super confused after he left her. No aftercare, just left her, and then she was like crying in a mess because she was so confused. She had a lot of emotion about it, why she enjoyed it and stuff. And he came back over and he was really shocked and he like stayed with her then. It's like, well, you should have stayed with her before. Like, aftercare is not even mentioned until... So right at the end, when she's like, what's the worst? Show me what the worst could be. And he does, and she's like, oh my god, yeah, I can't do this. Only then, after she like runs out of the room, give her a moment, then go and offer her aftercare. This is only mentioned on page 505. Aftercare is so important. You should know that, Christian. You know how inexperienced it is. You keep saying it. Aftercare should have been discussed beforehand as well. It's like E.L. James only researched what she wanted to research on BDSM and then just left everything out. Like the whole contract thing, which obviously they do mention is not legally binding and all that, obviously. And he should have been reiterating her at the very beginning. He does near the end, like, what are your safe words, when he's going to show her what the worst is. But you should have done that in, like, from the start, even though she didn't sign the contract. Like, remind me now before we start, like, playing and doing a scene, what your safe words are. And checking in on her and then giving her aftercare. And he doesn't. He's a terrible dom. He really is. But I can't blame Christian because E.L. James, I'm blaming them, honestly. I don't know why it's 559 pages. It's so... I don't remember it being this boring, so I remember flying through the books. But literally nothing happens. Nothing happens. And I really forgot as well that Anastasia doesn't have any personality. You know when I said I referred to her as a bowl of unseasoned mashed potatoes? Make those mashed potatoes undercooked and lumpy as well, because literally, who is she? Why? I get it now because I've seen people like talk about these books more recently, but I couldn't really remember. And I get it, like, she has no personality. It's like, why is Christian so enamored with her? Because I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it at all. So yeah, and I don't even want to put it down to when it was published. I think these ones were published in 2015, this one. I just went, I I just popped into a charity shop, yeah, Thrifty, and I saw the second one, and I picked it. I was like, no, Alex, don't be so bloody stupid. You're not gonna read darker. You're not, okay? Because it was a struggle to get through 500 plus pages, but I did it. Let's round it up. It's not a good book. It's not. It's really not. I want to see, have we had any more puppies? No, I don't think so. I will come back to you. I want to see what I rated them, if I did rate them on Goodreads. I should have, yeah, 50 Shades. Did I rate them back then? Oh my days. I rated it 5 stars, the first book. Wow. What did I rate the second book? Oh, this is interesting. 4 stars. Progressively worse. And then the last book, 5 stars. So clearly, I really enjoyed these books back in day. When did they come out? The third book came out in 2012. The first book came out 2011. Wow, so yeah, I really enjoyed them apparently. And like I said, yeah, I remember just flying through them, but finding that the sex wasn't very interesting and I was skipping past it. But then back then, so what did I say, 2011 or 2012? So yeah, I would have been what? I would have been 21, 22. And I think that would have been like the first romance book I ever read. Now, having a year of reading like the smuttiest, darkest books, I would say I'm still a new dark romance reader. I've only had like a year of really delving into romance and enjoying dark romance and things like that. This isn't a dark romance, but I say that because we forgive the heroes a lot for things that they do so long as they can redeem themselves. I'm pretty sure I said that at the start of the video. And look, it's okay, but there is nothing special about this. And it is fascinating that I gave this 5 stars, the original book, 50 Shades of Grey, because I'm going to give this one 2.5. I find that really interesting that it just depends on a moment in time that you read something, and I love if people can enjoy it. Like I've said like 1,000 times, I love it that if I say I really don't like a book and you say, oh my god, I love that book, I'm like, oh yes, good, love that. Because I wish I could love every book I read. And I sometimes look back and think about some of the books I read early on before I became, sorry, I still got a bit of it. If I read them now, how would I feel about them? So I'm actually quite glad I did this. It was very interesting. Clearly loved it back in day, but now I've really gone into my romance kick. I realise that compared to what else is out there, this just isn't for me. It really isn't. And if it's still up your alley, then I love that for you. I absolutely love that for you, but no, just no. So there you go. I read Grey by E.L. James. I will not be reading the next one, but this was fun and it's given me a lot to think about. Is there a book out there that you really enjoyed when it came out, but you think back on it, now you've read so many more books since then, you're like, would I give it such a high rating? Would I enjoy it as much now? Could be in any genre, thriller, fantasy, sci-fi, whatever you read. Would I enjoy that now? And I think this is the perfect example of right time, right place, that when a lot of people read this, and obviously 50 Shades of Grey did a lot for the romance, like, community, because it really like put romance in spotlight. People were very unashamed and just like loved it, which was great. You know, I want people to be unashamed of reading romance. I think everyone does. So you gotta give it that. It did a lot. It did a lot. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know down below what book you think that if you read it now, you just really would not enjoy it. So those kind of books you never want to reread. Like, no, I want to keep the memory of how much I enjoyed them. So I reread it now. I don't think I would. Let me know down below. I'm gonna love you, leave you. Still very blocked up, but I'm feeling much better. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all the fun stuff. Do all of it, do none of it. It doesn't matter so long as you're happy, and I'll see you in the next one.